There are not a lot of guarantees when it comes to fantasy football year over year, but I can guarantee that Kyle will continue to have the biggest nose on this channel. Jake's hairline will continue to recede at an alarming rate, and the tight end position will continue to suck in 2023. So I'm here to tell you guys about 5 guys that I think you could take with your final pick in fantasy football this season that could help you win a fantasy championship without costing you an arm and a leg in your drafts. Let's get into it. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a few ground rules that I gave myself when doing this video. First off, no rookie tight ends. They just don't hit at a high enough clip. I know there's some good ones out there that people like this year. I'm sorry, that's not the purpose of this video. We're trying to find the best tight end that you can draft with your last pick in fantasy football. Now that leads me to my second and probably the biggest pet peeve that I have with fantasy football analysis when it comes to sleepers or late round picks at the tight end position. We get it. There's only like 5 good ones in the league. Everybody else is in this big pot, and I hate seeing articles and videos where guys are touting players that are still being drafted as the tight end 12, the tight end 15. I'm sorry, that is not a sleeper. If they're going in the top 15 picks at their position, ain't nobody sleeping on them. So this video is focusing only on guys that are being drafted outside of the top 20, and most of them in most redraft and best ball leagues are not even being drafted. So these are truly guys you can get at your very last pick. There's going to be 4 categories that we're comparing these guys in. First off, we got their price. What are they costing us in fantasy football? Prior production. What have you done for us lately? Things I love about them and things I hate about them heading in to this fantasy season. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you which of these 5 guys I'll be taking with my last pick in fantasy football this season. The first guy I'm going to be talking about today is Hunter Henry. Now, Hunter Henry is going as the tight end 26 in draft, 17th round. Had a down year with the rest of the offense under Matt Patricia last year, was the tight end 22 with 41 catches and 2 touchdowns. Not a great year for him, but we're only 2 years removed from him being the tight end 10 overall with 50 catches and 9 touchdowns. So we do have some history here of Hunter Henry being a viable fantasy option, and he's going way later than he was even just last season. Now, some of the things I love about Hunter Henry, first off, you got to love the consistency. Over 500 receiving yards in each of his last 5 seasons. I love that he's already getting preseason buzz as Mac Jones's favorite target in the red zone. This is where he's going to win us fantasy leagues, is going to catch touchdowns in the red zone. I know that he's not the greatest athlete in the world. I know that he is not a yak monster like some of these other really athletic tight ends, but Hunter Henry knows how to score in the red zone, and he's actually been slimming down this preseason and offseason to make sure he is even more fluid in the red zone. And speaking of offense, a new offensive coordinator, not surprising here, Bill O'Brien coming back, and he knows how to run an offense. He will get this offense moving the ball down the field. I'm not going to say they're going to be amazing, but anything above last season is an improvement for Hunter Henry and Mac Jones. Now, things I dislike, things that I don't love about his situation: Mike Gesicki. He's coming in. He's worked under Bill O'Brien in the past. He does have more of an athletic profile, more of that yak ability, and that does concern me for Hunter Henry. But again, Mac Jones loves this guy. The other thing I don't know about this offense is who is the number 1 guy in this offense. I'm hoping with this pick that it's Hunter Henry, but there's no guarantee that Devontae Parker or Juju Smith-Schuster or even Mike Gesicki could be the number 1 option in this offense. Or maybe it's a running back, or maybe it's none of the above, and it's some guy we haven't even talked about, like Tyquan Thornton or something. We don't know who the number 1 in this offense is. It's very murky as to how this team is going to play their snaps and run their offense this season. So a lot of uncertainty there for Hunter Henry. But overall, we're looking for a touchdown monster. Hunter Henry has the profile. The next guy I'm going to be talking about on this list is Hayden Hurst. Now, Hayden Hurst, most expensive guy on this list, is the tight end 23, going in the 16th round. And he's coming off a breakout year in 2022, finished with 52 catches and 3 touchdowns, but had a bad year in 2021. 26 catches, 2 touchdowns. We actually never seen Hayden Hurst be a top 12 guy at the position, so we're projecting a little bit. But the thing I love about Hayden Hurst is that his offense is one that you can project to. Now, he's coming from the Bengals, a great offense, but he's coming into a system that historically has favored the tight end position. Frank Wright, as a head coach or offensive coordinator, had top 15 tight end production for his first 8 seasons in under those positions. So the offense does favor the tight end position. Now, there's no other proven target competition for Hayden Hurst. So from a target volume perspective, I would expect him to be one of the top 3 guys on the team in the offense in terms of total targets this season. And they signed him to a nice contract. He is expected to be the starter. I don't expect a lot of competition from other guys on the depth chart. Now, moving on to things that I hate about his situation. First off, rookie quarterback. Don't love that for him from a fantasy perspective. We've seen teams with rookie quarterbacks tend to favor the run more than the pass. We'll see how often they trust their young quarterback to lead them in the red zone, or if they're just going to make him more of a running and dink and dunk kind of quarterback in his first year. The other thing I don't love about his profile, he's never really been a touchdown machine. And that's something that you want from a tight end position. You want them to be a guy that's going to score you touchdowns, because typically the top 12 tight ends are the ones that score the most touchdowns. I know that's every position in fantasy football, but there's going to be a lot of weeks when your tight end is going to have to produce primarily off of touchdowns. And so him not being a touchdown machine in the past has me a bit concerned. Is he even usable in the red zone? Now, the other problem that I have with Hayden Hurst is that he is coming off of off-season groin surgery, so he didn't have a typical off-season that you would want from this guy. But again, the offense is great. There's a lot of things to love about the situation he's in. We're just hoping that the player can live up to the profile, especially after a really solid 2022 season. All right, moving from the most expensive tight end on the list to the least expensive from a price perspective, let's talk about Keke Coutee. Priced as the tight end 35 in drafts in the 20th round. Let's be honest, he's probably going undrafted in most leagues. But in 2022, he had a solid season. 42 catches, 2 touchdowns, was the tight end 26 on the year. Didn't play in 2021 because he was a rookie last year. So that makes those numbers even more impressive. But the thing I love about Keke Coutee is that he averaged 4 catches, 6.5 targets, and 40 yards a game. And in 4 of the 6 games that he played without Cameron Brate, so the 6 games where he was the starting tight end, which he will be this year, he averaged over 10 PPR points, which would make him one of the 12 best tight ends in the league if he were to do that over the course of a season. Almost half of his receiving yards last year came after the catch. So the thing we love about a guy like George Kittle is his ability to take a short pass and turn it into a big, long chunk play. And that's something that Keke Coutee has shown he has the ability to do in this offense. And Baker Mayfield, if he is the quarterback, has shown some favoritism to his tight ends in the past. In 2021, he threw the ball 142 times to tight ends. In 2020, he threw the ball 137 times to tight ends. And his second leading target getter in both of those seasons was the tight end position. But the thing that I hate, it's still Baker Mayfield. I don't love the huge jump down from a quarterback perspective. Tom Brady, obviously a much better quarterback than either Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield. I also don't like that he's the 4th option on his team from a passing perspective. I don't think that Keke Coutee is going to be beating out guys like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans for targets anytime soon. And they have a new offensive coordinator that has never held that specific position before. So we'll see what their offense looks like as a whole. But Keke Coutee, top 12 fantasy asset last season in 4 of 6 games when he's the starting tight end. That is a statistic that you need to know for your fantasy drafts. And even if your tight end goes down, it's something that you should remember if you're trying to play the waiver wire for a guy like Cade Otton. But if we're going to be talking about quarterbacks, nobody on this list got a bigger upgrade at the quarterback position than Tyler Conklin for the New York Jets. He's going as the tight end 24 in drafts right now, currently in the 17th round. Very consistent from a production standpoint over the last 2 years. In 2022, he was the tight end 16. 2021, you guessed it, tight end 16. 87 targets in 22, 87 targets in 21. 58 catches, 61 catches. So he screwed that up a little bit, but still finished with 3 touchdowns in both of those years. Now, the thing you love about Tyler Conklin is obviously the quarterback upgrade. Aaron Rodgers, a much better quarterback than Zach Wilson. But the thing I love the most about Tyler Conklin is he is a target hog at the position. Very underrated. 8th most targeted tight end last year. 12th most targeted tight end in 2021. He has a 70% route participation rate, which is 9th best among tight ends last season. And Nathaniel Hackett's system tends to open up the field for the tight end position. So a lot to love from a volume perspective for Tyler Conklin this year. Now, things I don't love about him, it's unlikely that he's going to be the top option in this passing game. It's probably not likely that he's going to be one of the top 2 options if Breece Hall is healthy. And I do think that we saw a dip in the production of Aaron Rodgers for a reason. He may continue to underperform expectations, but again, he can't underperform expectations enough to be worse than Zach Wilson was last year. So we're going to give Tyler Conklin the benefit of the doubt and say there's a lot to love for the tight end for the New York Jets. All right, the last guy on this list is somebody that I saw brought up a lot of times when I was doing research for this, and that's Jake Ferguson for the Dallas Cowboys. He's going as the tight end 27 in the 17th round. In 2022, he had a down year. Only the tight end 29, 22 targets, 19 catches, 2 touchdowns. So at least he's catching targets when they're given to him, but he was the backup to Dalton Schultz. He was also a rookie. But the thing I love about him is he is projected to start at tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. And that is a role that has traditionally been fantasy viable. We know that Dak Prescott loves to use his tight end as his safety blanket, and we're hoping that Jake Ferguson can earn that role in the preseason. Now, the things I don't like about him, he's being touted for his blocking in training camp, not his pass catching. So I don't love that they're not really identifying him in training camp so far as a consistent pass catcher in drills. The other thing I don't love is he's not even a proven pass catcher. He didn't catch a ton of balls in college. He has not caught a ton of balls in the NFL, but I understand that the upside of him being the Dallas Cowboys starting tight end carries some weight. The other thing I don't love about him is he's not a great athlete. So while we have seen tight ends in the past in this system that weren't great athletes succeed, can we keep banking on a guy that's not a great athlete to be a yak monster or a touchdown monster? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet with Jake Ferguson, and there's a lot of questions about this guy, but I do think there is something there with the fact that he is going to be the starting tight end for a team that historically has thrown to the tight end. So I guess we'll give him that. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds here to comment down below who's your favorite sleeper tight end. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out here at the Fantasy Headliners. We're dropping videos like this each and every day of the offseason and NFL season year round, baby. We don't take breaks because we want you to win fantasy championships. And if you want to win a little bit of money playing fantasy football this year, make sure you head on over to our friends at Underdog Fantasy. Use the code Headliners, deposit $10. We'll give you a free copy of our draft guide this season, and one lucky person is going to win something from Jake's office. I've been in Jake's office, and let me tell you, that baby is a treasure trove of things you want to win from us. Now, you got to use the code Headliners when you sign up to Underdog Fantasy. You got to deposit the $10, but if you want to deposit more, they will match it up to your first $100, and it's the only place that you can play fantasy football against the Fantasy Headliners this year. But let's get into it. Let's talk about who I will be drafting with my last pick at the tight end position. All right, so who do I think is the best tight end to take with your last pick in fantasy football this year? I think the answer is pretty clear when you're looking at these guys. It's Tyler Conklin for me. He's got everything you want from a sleeper tight end. Prior production. He's got an upgrade at quarterback. The offense as a whole should score more points. Tyler Conklin should easily outproduce his tight end 24 ranking and should be locked in if you're choosing to wait at tight end as one of your last picks in your fantasy draft. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Is there somebody I missed? Is there somebody you really love in fantasy at the tight end position? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you subscribe, because we are putting out so much amazing content for your fantasy teams this preseason, and we're dropping videos each and every day during the NFL season. I cannot wait to get this NFL season started, but that's all I got for you guys today. The Doc is out.